Last time on Proteus Rising, we looked at a lot of boats, but nothing that ticked all our yes boxes. So in this episode, September ebbs on, and we start focusing on getting the house up for sale and enjoying Tank's senior football season. But when the calendar hits October, a random internet ad finds us falling in love.
One of the major barriers to getting the house ready for sale was rehoming our chickens and ducks. For those who've been watching from the beginning, you know we've been using our little plot here in Twin Peaks as a microfarm for about 5+ years. So we needed to turn the house back into a suburban escape from the Emerald City 9-to-5 grind to attract the biggest pool of buyers. Fortunately, Casz found a homeschool co-op that would take it all. Not just the poultry, but all the infrastructure too. The coop, the fences, the feeders and waterers, all of it. We helped them pack it all up, got the birds on the truck, and waved goodbye.
I just got out of the shower. It's a Thursday night, and we've kind of gotten to the point in this 5-year plan where the initial excitement has gone down a little bit, and we're just moving on with our lives and going through the grind every day. And that cycle of doubt, whenever you start to do something and you try to plan for something, starts creeping in. And is this the right thing? Should we be doing this? Should we be worrying about it? Should we still be looking at boats? We've cooled our jets a little bit on that. We're still learning lots, still reading. When we do find a boat that piques our interest, which we've become much, much more selective as the more boats we see, we kind of narrow the scope of what we're looking for. There's a lot of emotion involved. I'm starting to purge my personal belongings, my clothing, make more plans for all the crap in the garage and the shed. The chickens and ducks have been gone for 5 days now, and it's been really freeing to not have to stop and gather eggs and muck and lock them up at night just as I'm getting comfortable for the evening. But at the same time, as things are moving really fast, they're also moving really slow. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I was reading a passage about different books, or rather different boats, to Greg the other night, and he got really emotional because he's so ready. And I found myself in the role of being the one to kind of pull him back a little bit and say, just hang on. We're getting there. We're gonna get there. Just be patient. The weekend's coming, so at least he gets to be away from the grind at work a little bit. So that's where we're at right now. Random Thursday night. just a few months into this journey. So emotions are kind of all over the place. That whole on the gerbil wheel thing to get there.
A couple of weeks went by and we didn't look at any boats. We just worked on us and got prepped for winter in Twin Peaks. So it dipped below 50 degrees here, so we decided to burn our large pile of cardboard that's been stacking up in the wood stove. Of course. And we got this new little toy, and I can't even believe that just the cardboard got her going. This is so awesome. Cool beans. What's it called again, honey?
Peltier generator.
Peltier generator. So I just came back from the grocery store because as part of our From Land to Sea and All Around the World 5-year plan, we're trying to get healthier. The corporate life just about killed me. I just got back and I had to take a picture of the cart and send it to Greg because it's absolutely ridiculous. We have cashew milk and frozen blueberries for smoothies, of course, and various shredded cheeses and asparagus and cucumber and lettuce and avocados and a host of other things so that we can eat healthier and get more energized for what we anticipate is going to be a life that requires more energy. So yeah, that's part of the process too. So if you're out there and you're watching this and you're wondering exactly how we're doing it, we are examining all facets of our life, from our health to our belongings to our mental attitude, all of it. And it's working so far. We're feeling a little bit at this point in time like gerbils on the wheel. Are we ever going to get there? Are we ever going to get there? Are we ever going to get to the blue water? Yes, we're going to get there. It's a process. You have to trust the process. You have to allow the process to happen. And every day I tell Greg, I tell myself, I tell the world, just do at least one thing every single day. Work towards that goal. Go for a walk. Purge something. Read a little bit more about sailing, about boats, about knot tying, about storm tactics, whatever, about different places we want to visit. That's what I've been doing in the last week because it's keeping my interest in keeping me motivated to work towards this goal. So have yourself a cashew milk smoothie, go for a walk, read a book, and know that you're one day closer to your dream. Then a Google keyword search ping for one of the types of boats we were interested in showed up in the Proteus Rising email. Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning. Today's date, because God knows when you're going to actually see this video, is October 15th, 2017. And we are leaving our home in North Bend to go up to Anacortes, which is along the Puget Sound, north, to go look at a Bayfield 36, currently named Naughty Girl.
Not a gal.
Naughty Gal, sorry, Naughty Gal. Oh, maybe that's why I couldn't find the thing. I was thinking of the wrong.
It's a joke on nautical.
Right,
Not a gal.
Not a gal. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Just, my mind
Not as
goes
good a
into the
joke.
gutter.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Not a girl. Yeah.
did a lot of research on this boat. It's not a Pearson 42, which is what we really wanted.
Pearson 422, yeah.
But there was only 39 of them made, and I think only like 15 of them still exist.
Well, and they were made in Florida, so they're all mostly on the East Coast.
Yeah, so they're all mostly on the East Coast, and it would cost us twice as much to get a Pearson 422 brought. Is it 422?
Yeah, 422.
422 brought over to the Pacific Northwest. And that's not really feasible. I mean, we could do it, but then we'd have no money left for refit and adventuring.
Right, we could get a lot more boat for that same money, or for a local boat.
Yes. So once we did the research, because there was one that was reasonably priced in Rhode Island, but then it's like, do we pay someone to sail it all the way around North America and cut through the Panama Canal?
Do we fly out there and sail it ourselves without any sort of captain's license?
Well,
which means we'd sail it uninsured?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a great idea.
Yeah. So really quickly figured out that we are going to need to get the boat right here in the Puget Sound. And
there are plenty of boats to choose from.
And there are plenty of boats to choose from. And who knows, maybe this is really the boat that we want. Our research indicates that she's kind of like the Doctor Who of boats, this particular Bayfield 36, and that
everybody says she's larger on the inside.
She's larger on the inside, and that's one of the reasons that we were drawn to the Pearson 422, because it's not so cramped. Gives you a little bit of elbow room. And we did determine that we wanted a second sleeping area cabin for visitors, for our youngest son at minimal. So that's important to us. What else are you thinking about the Bayfield 36?
So it's got an interesting story, Bayfield Boat Factory, in that they started building boats, and the 36 was the biggest boat that they built, and they sort of took a mix of old and new ideas. And that's something that I really like. Keep what works and innovate on what doesn't work so well. So the things I like about the boat in particular are it's a solid fiberglass hull. I'm not really interested in a 40-year-old boat that has a cord hull. The bulkheads are tabbed to the hull, so they're not just free-floating bulkheads. They're actually physically attached to the hull, so those are good things. Chain plates and all that kind of stuff have reinforced structures where they attach to the hull. This particular boat is also out on the hard right now, so that's kind of exciting because we've never actually seen a boat that hasn't been afloat.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the boat that you'd really like to inspect is hidden from view when it's in the water.
Right.
So this is actually really exciting to be able to see the rudder and the prop and touch the keel. So it's going to be fun to take a look at.
She does have a full keel.
Right. So the Bayfield 36 has a full keel, a bit of a sort of a pirate ship design to it, which I think is kind of cool.
Beanie.
Fairly wide, so she's not going to
win races, but we're not interested in racing.
No, we're not really interested.
We want to get there safely and handle whatever weather comes to us.
Fully enclosed lead ballast in the keel.
Yes, very nice.
Fairly shallow draft of about between 5 and 6 feet. So that's
anywhere between 4'11" and 5'9".
Depending on how full the boat is.
Depending on how full
Since it's a liveaboard,
we're probably going to get closer to 6 feet. Yeah, which is for a blue water cruiser starting out here in the Pacific Northwest is not too shabby.
But you can get most anywhere.
You can get just about anywhere as we start our adventure
so
here.
As far as we know. based on the other like sailing videos we watched and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, talking to Puget Sound and Pacific Northwest sailors, yes. So she's got a full keel.
Yes, full keel, skeg hung rudder,
which is our preference.
Yeah, fully enclosed lead ballast. So those are all pluses, right? So we've got a list of criteria that are must-haves, right? So those are things like 36 feet or greater, decent interior space, solid laminate hull design, enclosed lead keel, skeg hung rudder, right? So these are all like mechanical things that are really hard to change about the boat. Those are design elements.
Yes, we can't really change that.
Right, so those are our must-haves, right? And then it's got a lot of nice-to-haves too. Like interior space is interestingly laid out. We've got 2 full-size double berths, as well as the ability to convert the dinette area into sleeping.
Saloon, yes. Into more sleeping, yes. So yeah, it could be a total party boat if we wanted it to be. Because, on Saturday night, our big scandalous thing that we did was have almond fudge and tea.
Ooh, living on the edge.
Hey, we're trying to save money for a boat.
Yeah. Bayfield Boat Company has a kind of an interesting story. They started building boats in about the 25-foot range, and then they moved up to the 36. This was the
only 36 that they built.
This is the biggest boat that they built, and they built
Canadian.
100 or so of them, I think.
Well, it's hard to really get those numbers correctly. I've read 70 boats and I've read 100 boats, so not a lot of them. It's not like the Benetaux or the Genots. You're not going to find a million of them on the water, which actually is one of the criteria we wanted too.
Yeah, something a little bit more unique.
Yes.
And she definitely has a unique look to her with the big bowsprit and sort of this pirate ship looking.
Yes, because she's cutter rigged, so the bowsprit is necessary. So her length overall, or LOA, is 41 feet, and that's okay. It's still within. We didn't want to go above 42 because at that point, from our research,
actually, she might be 36 length overall. I'm not sure.
The 3 websites that we continually go to, Blue Water Yachts, sailboatdata.com, and Yacht World Review, all said length overall was 41.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
As a former journalist, if you've got 3 sources that say something, that's as close as you can get to fact without me going out and measuring the boat myself. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I like the setup with 2 head sails. And this particular boat they've done a ton of work on recently.
Yes. So tell us the story about the Naughty Gals current owners.
They are... They've been very clear that they're looking for someone to sell the boat to that will love their boat, right? It's clearly been a labor of love for them.
Yes.
They've had her out of the water now for a little while they did a bunch of bottom work. So it's got brand new bottom paint. Mm-hmm. It hasn't even touched salt water yet. And a bunch of upgrades to the rigging. So, and they made it clear that what they're looking for is someone to take ownership of the boat that will love her as much as they have.
And take her on adventures.
Yeah, so we're really excited to meet them.
Yes.
And it's funny because we started this journey with an excerpt from a poem by Wordsworth.
Yes.
And, or one of our email conversations, he included poetry as well, although he referenced Robert Frost.
Robert Frost and the Pathless Travel.
Yeah.
So they took Naughty Gal from Texas, Florida area.
On a lake.
Yeah.
She started out on a lake.
and spent 5 years blue water cruising all around. And now they're ready for their next adventure, and they're going off into the wilds of Alaska RVing, which also really speaks to us. We would love to do that too at some point, but the ocean is calling right now. So I'm really excited to meet them because they are adventurous souls. It's very clear. And honestly, this is the first boat owners that we're going to meet that used the boat the way we plan to use it.
Right. Yeah.
Most everyone else has been weekend sailors or, family trips maybe for a couple of weeks in the summer. None of the boats that we've looked at were used in a manner that we want to use it. So that also kind of gives this journey today to look at Naughty-Gal, and it just gives it a little bit more edge.
A little bit more spice, a little bit more...
it feels much more right from the beginning.
Yeah, so because it's a boat based on what we've seen by internet pictures and conversations we've had.
Yeah.
It's a boat that, has a really strong connection to what we want to do.
Yeah.
Cut! Okay, you probably get it. Clearly, we're very excited about this boat. So stay tuned next time as we have quite the Halloween treat and have a beautiful time in Anacortes, Washington. In the meantime, Kola and Sprite don't want you to be afraid of liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, or following us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Until then, hoorah!